gamers? Today we're going to be analyzing, reviewing, watching the replays from, I think it's the first tournament of 2024, right? Or at least the one I played in. I might be forgetting one, but I think this is the first one. And it is going to be Energy's Slapfest #1. And apparently, if we had over 1K viewers, we're going to have more tournaments. We did have over 1K viewers on the caster streams and stuff like that. We are going to have more of them. So that's very exciting. Very good stuff. Love that. And I decided to just analyze some replays, tell you guys how the games went, because now we know a little bit more about the meta, especially post-patch. So this was a tournament where we had a group stage into a 16-player tournament. Group stage, top 2 advance. I was in group with Vortex, Gigliardi, and Cat. I advanced the group, and then in the quarterfinals, I was up against Louis. And Louis obviously also advanced his group, and he beat Lucifron, B, and Voldemort. So big results for Louis. I have been playing some custom games here and there with Louis for a very long time. We've done a couple of probably best of I think it was best of 3s, best of 5s in the past week or so, and he is very, very good, to the point where I haven't played him in a while. And then when I played him in practice, I kind of got dented in pretty badly first, and I was like, I don't know if I'm like playing worse or he's just way better than he used to be. Turns out he is way better than he used to be. So he beat B, he beat Lucifron, which are, I think, big results for him. I think the best results he's gotten so far are 2 top 8 finishes. And now he is like beating like, you know, really good players. So I think Louis is very, very good right now. And honestly, Louis was probably my hardest match this tournament. So in the next tournament, which is going to be the EGC one, you guys should definitely be looking out for him. I am assuming he will get top 4 at least, if not get to the finals. Like, he is good. It depends, obviously, the bracket, who he meets and all that, but I think he's really, really good. So, yeah, shout out to Energy for hosting the tournament. This was the best of 5 against Louis, and the way drafts were done, we each had 2 bands, and then I pick a civ, he picks 2, then I pick 2, then he picks 2, then I pick whatever, how many. So each player can choose 5 civilizations in a best of 5, and basically there are no mirrors. So if I take a civilization, he cannot pick that civilization. So if I take, you know, Jushi's Legacy, he cannot pick it as well. So this first match, there's a lot of like in the current meta, because we know the map pool in advance, like we know the 5 maps, right? So you usually want to pre-plan your best of 5 or best of 7 to an extent. Not maybe for sure pre-plan everything, but have an idea what you want to play where. And I wanted to go Jushi's Legacy on this map because Jushi Legacy got nerfed quite a bit, actually. Obviously, I know the Civ was nerfed, but there's one thing to read the patch notes, but there's one thing to like actually play the Civ and like, you know, feel it out kind of thing. And playing Jushi's Legacy, it felt pretty bad compared to what it used to be. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad Civ now, but compared to what it used to be, it is not as good. To the point where players did not pick Jushi's Legacy at all in the tournament. So it went from like S tier, best Civ, to now people are just not even picking it in the tournament, which is pretty funny. So I think right now, either we gotta get used to new Jushi's Legacy, or maybe the meta is gonna be like castle rushing with bald monks or something. I don't know, but I feel like playing standard Jushi not as good as it used to be. So, yeah. Now, Meditation Garden was one of the things that got nerfed. So if you look at this spawn, I got berries, I got stone, and I got wood. I'm getting 5 less stone, I'm getting like 6, 7 less wood because there's a less range too, and I'm getting less food. So previously I could have put this landmark here and it would have caught all these things because there was bigger range, or if you put it here, you know, whatever. But Meditation Gardens gives quite noticeably less resources. Because not only it gives less resources per thing, it also gives it also has less range, so it can, you know, get less things in its range. So Louis here played China, and China is kind of back on the menu. China received a small buff where Imperial officials are 70-35. But China is back on the menu, and a lot more people are playing China again. Obviously, these two civs are both boom civs in their current forms, but like I said, Jushi, I think, is going to be a civ that's going to turn into a fast castle rushing civ, because I think if you want to play like this, which is 2 or 3 TC, you might as well just play China, because I think China does a better job at it right now. So, Song Dynasty is also nerfed, you know, from 40% I think to 30%, so these small things, you know, they do add up. So, this matchup, I wasn't really sure how to play it and what to do. I have played this matchup before from China's side, and I won. I think I played this matchup like twice maybe, because it didn't used to be a common matchup, and it's still probably not going to be. But basically the idea is, before Jushi Legacy had better eco, I'm going to speed up this a little bit. Jushi had better eco and China had slower eco, but they had better siege. So Jushi can mass more units, China can have better siege. Well, right now, because Jushi's eco has been nerfed, and Meditation Garden has been nerfed, it kind of feels like China just has, let's say they both have very similar economy, but China has siege with 50% HP, which means that you cannot really contest the siege battles. If you're playing a same civ with same economy, or same civ, like 2 civs with the same economy, but one has bonus HP on siege, you cannot contest siege wars. And then if we both spam palace guards, the fights are somewhat equal. Yeah, that's kind of the idea and thinking behind it. He also has Barbican, of course, which is nice for defense, and he has golden, not golden gatehouse. What is it called? Stone wall house or something? You guys know what I mean. Great wall gatehouse, which is really, really good defensively. So I feel like Jushi is not necessarily like terrible civ or something like that. I just think that it is weaker than it used to be. And maybe it's still viable, I don't know, at the top level. And again, I'm talking about top level, I'm not talking about Gold League, okay? It might be still viable, who knows, but we'll see. So anyway, that being said, we both boomed up. I got 2 relics, he got 3 relics, I think. Oh no, I got 1 relic maybe. And he got 4? Not actually sure, yeah, I think I got 1, he got 4. So right now it was just a Palace Guard spam. Now what I tried to do is, it was the first time I played this matchup from Jushi's Legacy point of view and post-nerf as well. So maybe what I should have done, could have done is, like before the nerf, you could just spam Palace Guards and overwhelm your opponent. But because you would have more, and because you have faster farm transition too. But maybe what I could have done here is, you can see already I have more army, but he has siege. Maybe I should have gone full Palace Guard and wait for his food to run out. I think that's option number 1. Option number 2 is maybe if I, you know, played standard age up to Imp and then went 1000 bolts crossbows and Yuan Raiders. Maybe that would have been good. Instead, I chose my army comp to be Rams to break walls and try to do run-bys, and then I did Mass Palace Guards plus Yuan Raiders, which... Or no, not Yuan Raiders, what are they called? They're not called Yuan Raiders, they're called Imperial Guards, sorry. Not Yuan Raiders suck. Imperial Guards. So my comp was Palace Guards, Imperial Guards, and well, it did not work out, which you'll see soon. And you can see right now the reason he has less army is because he is transitioning to farms. But I can't really push because he has 5 Nested Bees. Now, if I didn't make crossbows, like if I fully committed to Palace Guards, maybe I could have just like powered through. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience in this matchup, so I'm not sure if that could have worked, but it sounds like something that could have worked. Because honestly, with all these towers and stuff, I thought that he has way more army, and I thought I'm in a lot of trouble. But looking back at this game now, like you can see the army supply is a lot lower. So if these crossbows and spearmen, or these spearmen come from the landmark, but if these crossbows were palace guards, I would have had like 60 palace guards, 50, 60 palace guards almost, versus 30. So maybe I could do something there. It's hard to say. But the game reached a point where the palace guards start running around. Now the problem is for me, he has great. I try to break in to go into the farms, but he has great wall gatehouse, which is obviously really good. And now any kind of spots with like siege, or well, he has 26 army plus siege, right? But any kind of like positions where we have both have keeps on each side is just not gonna work out for me. So I tried my best to like avoid that at all costs, because I cannot contest this. Again, I could have gone siege, but it's like his siege is just stronger and better, so it's kind of, yeah. So I tried doing run-bys at the bottom. Oh, I didn't even realize this is still open. I do run in, but this game is actually a lot closer than I thought. I thought I was really far behind, by the way. Like, when I was playing this game, I thought I was dead as hell. So maybe the point still stands. As in, Jushi's legacy is just a mass unit version of China, where you're supposed to, like, overwhelm with palace guards or crossbows or whatever. And China is just slower, but more siege-heavy civ. Like, right now, he has established, but I feel like now looking back, I did have a pretty decent timing to do some damage, I think, so. So, yeah. But anyway, I tried to break in stuff. He had stone walls. He had, like, 2 layers of stone walls, even. He just tried, like, delaying the game, I think. Maybe for Siege to be better, and I think maybe I try to force the game too much. Again, not really sure. One thing to note is I wanted to avoid fighting straight up at all costs, because I also do not have hand cannoneers, right? And he has, because Jushi doesn't have hand cannoneers. So I wanted to avoid siege, I wanted to avoid hand cannoneers, which is why I went into Imperial Guards. And it felt like I was doing alright with them, but I wasn't doing any damage. Like, I feel like maybe overall I traded okay, but I just didn't do any damage, which was kind of the issue. Like, you can see everywhere I try to push, he has a great wall gatehouse, he has a keep. Here he had double wall. He had a lot of passive gold from pagodas. He has 3 pagodas, which is really good. And his raids eventually started coming in. I was losing some units, or some villagers, and eventually my gold ran out. And the trades were in the middle of the map, which, if they were in the corner, I think I can probably keep playing. But the trades were in the middle, which means that with, like, siege and stuff, he would have probably easier time controlling that. So, yeah, overall, I think it wasn't like unwinnable game. I think it's just a matter of, like I said, I thought I was really far behind and there was like no chance for me to win anywhere. But looking back, I think I could have overwhelmed it maybe earlier on, and next time when I play this matchup, I will probably try to set up trade earlier for mass gold, and then try like mass crossbow plus Imperial Guards, or maybe mass Imperial Guards and Grenadiers or something like that, and try to push through. But yeah, I think you just gotta like realize how you need to play depending which civ you're playing, whether you're playing Jushi's Legacy or China. So all in all, he managed to hold on, and he was just bumping out palace guards, and you know, there came a point where, like, I'm doing some run-bys, I was doing some villager damage, but I also started taking a lot of damage in the back of my base. And my gold ran out, by the way, so he still had, like, the bottom gold, he had this gold, he had this gold as well. But eventually my gold completely ran out. And I never got upgrades for like 10,000 bolts, and I never got upgrades like incendiary arrows, so it's not like I could have transitioned to, you know, Zuginu or crossbows themselves, because I need those upgrades. Wow, I actually killed a lot of workers. $80 workers? I mean, he's remaking them, and he's still got a big bank. He's making 28 palace cards. Maybe I left too early. 76 workers? Wait. Oh yeah, now palace guards come and they're just fucking denting me. Oh yeah, I try to make a keep here to get the gold. And look at this. How funny is that? 6,500 out of 6,500. I put like 40 workers on that thing, or maybe even more, and like, you know. But yeah, I just died there. Yeah. Okay, I did not leave too early. Like, I think economically I killed a lot, but the amount of palace guards that he had and was still producing was crazy, and I ran out of gold. So, like, that was my only gold left. So, it is what it is. You know, he played well. We'll get him next time. So that was game number 1. It was a best of 5. So this was game number 2. I had Mongol in my lineup, and Prairie was the map, which is why I chose the Mongol. Or I chose the Mongol in the draft because Prairie was in the map pool. And I mean, I think Mongol is like just the strongest sim on this map, and like, can you beat it? I mean, yeah, you can beat it with Malians, you know, but I also had Malians. I had Malians, HRE, and Mongol in my lineup, which are all 3 good civs on this map and can beat Mongol. So I knew that he's gonna probably play like Ayyubid or something scuffed. Ayyubid is okay on this map because you can do castle rushes, but basically there's not much to analyze. I did a tower rush and he died, so that's it. So I come here, I see woodline and gold. I'm like, okay, poggers, we're gonna make a tower right there. That's good stuff. Boom. I'm in the tower, and that's pretty bad for him. Making silver tree, making another tower in case the first one goes down. And because of the ram nerf, and I experienced this recently, where I was the one getting tower rushed by a Mongol player, and I thought I could just get a ram and kill it, but rams got less health and they receive more damage. So look at how much damage the spearmen are doing to the ram. Like, it is way more. Look, it's almost half health. I poked it like 3 times. And now you just do a little dance where you send your spearmen in, out, while you're poking down the ram. Do a little micro here. The archers are dying. We're doing a little dance. And the ram dies. And that's a lot of wood. That's 250 wood, and he killed a tower for 100. And I still have the second tower. Now this second tower is not in the range of gold, but it is range of the wood line. So like, this is already a problem because he has the idol. Now he is remaking tower here, 2 towers, and he's trying to rush castle. As you can see, he's almost there. But you know, I'm starting my trade up in a second. I got my stables. I'm getting blacksmith. I'm getting archer range. I killed 2 villagers with keshiks. I think he's gonna age up in a second. I charge in here, causing some idle time, making a ram. I don't know if you can see my ram here. Oh, he can. I try to make it behind the trees, but I guess you can see it. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, he lost 3 workers here because he put them on the wood line on this side, and I guess he didn't see it from the tower because I was raiding him at the same time. So he just decides to tap out because the rams are coming, and even if he starts aging up, he's got no wood. Like, he has to go there to chop wood, in which, you know, the keshiks are gonna come and kill his workers. So the game is pretty much over. It was pretty one-sided. So just like the last matchup was favored for me, this matchup, I genuinely don't know what I can do. By the way, I have picked Order of the Dragon 3 times in the tournament. I don't think a single other player has picked Order of the Dragon. I picked it 3 times. I don't think that HRE or OOTD are the best civs, but I love playing both of them, so I pick it, you know? I love it. So this matchup is really rough, and in my opinion, probably the worst matchup for OOTD, and it's not even close. So, like, I think I actually, like, I think I played like 6 or 7 matchups of OOTD versus Delhi. I think I won twice, barely, and it was like against players that were like rank 100 and rank 200. Or maybe one was rank 50, I can't remember. But I remember the players were a lot lower ranked than me, and I barely won. Like they made like 3 mistakes, and I fucking like mic'd my dick off, you know, and I barely won. So obviously when we, you know, picked the civs, I knew I was in a lot of trouble, so yeah. I even went for the boar because I was like, I need to do something a little spicy. And getting boar with the OTD is really good early on because they gather faster, and obviously boar is crazy good food. So I went for a tower, I got the boar, I got horsemen to try harass a little bit. He was just massing Ghazi raiders. I got survival techniques so I can, you know, gather this shit faster too. And like the game started fine, you know, like we're kind of poking. Like the game started actually more than fine because I killed this scholar. This is the first scholar. And I killed it. And I was like, okay. Alright, I got spearmen out. You know, now we got spearmen. Which obviously my spearmen are super, super strong. So I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. And we're doing a little poking. I'm going archers. He's going archers. And from this point on, like, okay, he had a better trade there, but it's not bad, you know. Like, I got all my upgrades completed already. He's got all these upgrades. I'm getting more production. And from this point on, you'll see that the army discrepancy just like skyrockets, because that's how Delhi is. So he tries raiding here. Doesn't really work. And now I just feel that I'm dead. He does some raiding here. He's got 3 sacred sites, which is obviously a really good economy. I have to go farms because you know, you want to slowly transition with it. I had deer here. I lose a villager. The army graph looks pretty much the same, but we go for a fight here, and I have some men-at-arms. I'm target firing the archers. Here I just try to shoot whatever I can. And obviously these archers also have 20% attack speed, right? And I thought that, you know, obviously you can always play better, but I thought I played pretty well, like not taking damage until like right now. The game is already over, by the way. At the top level, if the Delhi is controlling 3 sacred sites for a while, and it's not about the timer of victory, it's about just the gold income, then you're in a rough spot. And I killed a scholar, which is like massive deal, right? So at this point, you know, I start taking damage because he still has Ghazi raiders. I don't have my horsemen. I'm trying to decap. It ain't working out, chief. And he not only has more army, more map control, 3 sacred sites, but he's also aging up. And once he ages up, obviously he can have to attack because I'm giga far behind. I just decide to go for it. He starts making men-at-arms, knights, and that is lights out for me. You can see there's so many archers and he's just one-tapping my archers. So yeah, that game was pretty unfortunate, pretty one-sided game. Yeah, it's one of those, like, I have tried, by the way, that matchup. I have tried a lot of different things. I've tried 2TC, I've tried castle rushing, I've tried fighting, I've tried horseman opening. Like, I don't think there's, like, this is the way to go, you know? It just seems like it's a pretty rough matchup because OTD is a civ that the counter to it is overwhelming. OTD is great against knight civs because the knight civ guy doesn't have a lot of units like you, but your units are better. And then OTD doesn't do well against civs that mass units, and Delhi is like, Delhi and Malian are the civs that can mass units the most, and Malian is also a great counter to OTD. So this game I went double scout, and this is Frisian Marches. He picked English, I picked HRE. He went for a man-at-arm rush, which did not really do anything. Like, he stopped my gold mining, but I don't need to mine gold as HRE right now. I can just go food and then go gold later. You know, it's as long as you're, you know, gathering resources, you're fine. So yeah, right now feeling pretty good. I had a good spawn here, gold right here, wood line obviously I was spawns here, Frisian Marches, and I can just put one tower and I'm chilling. And I don't know if he wanted to snipe my HRE here with English, because we both had 2 civs left. He had Jeanne d'Arc and English, and I had HRE and Malian. So maybe he thought he would prefer to play JD against Malian, so he put English against HRE here. Maybe he thought I was gonna... Because the thing is, Malian is good against English, so he definitely wanted to avoid Malian versus English and get the JD into Malian, I would assume. So... yeah. But anyway, I made a tower. I was scouting, I had 2 scouts. This map has a lot of sheep, by the way, so we both had like 20 plus sheep. So he goes for a second town center, which I have played against this before, and I know exactly what to do, and I did what I had to do, which was rush Imperial. Not Castle. Rush Castle too, but rush Imperial. So I'm scouting, I'm seeing no units coming out to prevent my relics. He does make some spearmen in a moment. He has a man-at-arm. But I end up making a stable, and I think I made 1 knight only. And the only reason I made a knight is to kill this annoying man-at-arm chasing my prelates. And I think I got 4 out of 5 relics. I moved my prelate from chapel because I just want to get all the relics immediately. He is rushing castle after this as fast as he can. And because he's 2TC and he's playing English, I knew that he won't be able to make an army in time to prevent fast Imperial. So what I did, I picked up all the relics. Remember, I got 1 knight, I have 2 scouts and 5 prelates. I have 3 villagers in wood. For some reason they went all the way here. I don't know why that is, but okay. And I saw him age up. I think I already saw him, or I'm about to see him, I can't remember. So I just decided to do 10-15 Palace of Swabia with 4 relics, which is obviously with Cathedral really, really good. Got a good chapel spawn. I'm already mining stone for bombard towers or cannon emplacement towers, so that in case he all-ins or something like that, I can hold. I get Imp, and even though he's ahead in villagers, obviously he's triple TC too. The Palace of Swabia is going to help out with that quite a bit. I start transitioning to farms. Nothing's really happening. Like, he's poking a little bit with these spearmen, but nothing crazy. And at this point, I think that HRE is very, very good into English late game because English has stronger units because of Network of Citadels, but HRE has way more production and can mass more units. So you just kind of win. You can just win by massing units. And by the way, he only has 8 farms. Like, he's still on fish and stuff, so he doesn't have the transition yet. He went for Berkshire right here on the middle, even though I had some units, and what you're about to see is kind of funny. So I'm coming in with land shits, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to mow him down, dude. I'm about to mow him down. And then villagers. Kick W. So that was pretty sad. But yeah, he gets his Berkshire up. And like, even though this Berkshire is in a good spot, like, it denies my gold, big gold and stone and sacred side. There was no need to panic. It's okay. He's now Imperial too, but my economy I know is a lot better. Because HRE and I got 4 relics with the right? I made a cannon emplacement tower here because I didn't want him to capture sacred side and like trigger sacred side victory, but because that puts me in kind of uncomfortable position. So he needs a while to get rid of this. Let's just say that. So now the printer starts. I'm double blacksmith. I'm getting university. I'm just upgrading my units. I got all the eco upgrades already, by the way, and I'm starting on my military. He has nothing on military yet. So I make a bombard, and now I'm making men-at-arms, and I just decide to getting elite army tactics too, like every upgrade. So I just decide to run by basically my whole army into his base. And at the same time, while I do this, I know he's gonna come defend. So I made a keep at the top to try to secure the big gold. So now I go in, I split men-at-arms everywhere to cause idle time everywhere I can, and well, yeah. You can see he has 30 villagers idle, but he has more running. So he probably idled about 50 villagers, maybe even more. Meanwhile, I managed to get keep up, which is nice. I made bombards in the middle to take down Berkshire because I know that his units are in his main base, so I know the middle is now free. So I decided to go for that. Berkshire ends up going pretty fast. And right now, this is just, if you look at the supply, that's the power of HRE, and that's kind of the weakness of English. So his units are better, but he literally doesn't have enough units to contest this. So now I can just A-move. I'm already transitioning to like stables to mass-produce horsemen, and you can see I have 13 barracks and 6 stables right now, but I'm producing more, and my upgrades are kicking in. So there's no stopping right now, and he just taps out. The last game was wild. I thought, okay, hear me out. For a while now, there's been this discussion, which one is better? Is it Malian? Is it JD? Like, who counters who? Because there's an interesting thing, the way the game works. Early on, I feel like this matchup plays out like French versus Malian, which Malian obviously counters quite hard. But the longer the game goes, I feel like this matchup is slowly turning into JD favored. But then comes the point where JD has to transition to farms, where I feel like there's a timing for Malian to strike and just overwhelm with army. So a lot of the top tier pros think that JD counters Malians, and I used to think that the Malian counters JD because I was able, like, usually what JD players did is they would do 1TC aggression, and I'm just chilling here with my army, and then they come with JD and knights and archers, and I just one-shot JD with javelins and with donzos, and then she gets no XP, and then it's like French versus Malian, right? But there's been a recent meta shift, whatever you want to call it, where JD players all around realized, well, there's no point in me being aggressive when later on I'll have the advantage. So what players started doing is going 2TC with JD. And basically, what that does is you put some pressure on Malian, and Louis is very good with this, by the way. He goes fast second TC, but he makes just enough units to make you overmake units, right? So what I mean by this is, look, he's going stone right now. He's got the knight out. And he's very good at, like, even using the one knight to do damage. And he's going archer range. So he's not going to TC and then he's making production. He makes archer range immediately. Queues up just a couple of archers. Because right now, I can just defend with Donzos. But now I saw archer range, so now I have to make javelin throwers too. So instead of... oh, I think I started making it. Oh, I didn't see the archers. I think I started making it, then I canceled, then I started making it again.
Yeah.
So instead of me booming now, right? Because I can't have constant scout of what he's doing. So I don't know if he's going to make horsemen. I don't know if he's going to continue making knights now. I don't know if he's going to make 2 archers or 5 archers. So you can't just be like, well, I'm going to just skip on units as Malian. You have to make units. And this is kind of the, like what top players know how to do. And use and abuse to its full extent. So he knows that now, even though I know he's going second DC, I don't know how many units he's going to make. And I need to get this second gold going. So look at this. He has 1 knight and 2 archers only. JD and 2 archers. And even with that, I have to make javelin throwers now. I lose the villagers, or the villager that was building that. I kill one of the archers, I lose 1 Donzo, and now I'm fully producing units, right? Meanwhile, he's getting his second town center up, he's farming poor around the map, and overall, this start, now I have to build a tower, and overall this start, in my opinion, is a lot better for him than for me. And this is a matchup that is considered weaker for JD, but if you play it like this, then suddenly it's pretty good for JD if you can create this kind of pressure. Because imagine if I skip javelin throwers, right? And 5 archers come, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna get destroyed. So I do get my gold up, I have more army, but again, you know, now you're playing against JD, right? So I don't wanna... Versus French, you can move out on the map. And you can maybe poke a little bit. But versus JD, in case you cannot go back or you overextend, you give her a lot of XP, and obviously you don't want to do that. So, previously JD players would just attack you now, and you one-shot her, or you just play a bit defensive, and she gets no XP, and then you age up and you just kill the JD player because their economy is pretty bad. But with this new meta, because you're 2TC, your economy is a lot better. So, not only you can defend right now from Malians, but also Malians attacking. You kind of enter this weird situation where I'm like, well, do I want to attack? Because if I attack, even if I trade better, I'm giving JD experience. And if I'm massing units, I'm not aging up. So that means that he might have level 3 JD in feudal. So it's a weird position to be in, right? I know it's like, it might seem like I'm overcomplicating it, but that's kind of how it is, and that's kind of what you have to pay attention to. So, so right now it's like I want to push, but then I look at the army and I'm like, well, do I want to push? You know, so I'm like, okay, well, I do have Cow Boom, he has second TC. I walled off the whole map, and I use this pressure to kind of create a little diversion so he has to stay in the base. I don't know what this guy's doing. And eventually I do age up. I'm going to speed up a little bit. And this is where it kind of gets interesting, right? Because reminder, JD also got nerfed at level 3 until she hits castle and she can upgrade in the keep or blacksmith. 25% damage nerf and HP nerf once she's level 3. So this is the problem now. This is why I think people consider JD a counter to Malian, and I feel like it's not that simple. I feel like it's like Malian counters JD, or sorry, JD counters Malian first like 7 minutes, then Malian counters JD from like 7 to, I don't know, 12. Then from like 12 to 20, JD counters Malian, but there comes a point where it turns again. And it all depends on the economy in the game, and it depends on her level. So this is where you usually want to mass push with Malians because you have your insane eco and you just want to kind of go for it. But he's also castle, and he's getting royal bloodlines, and he's getting archer upgrade too. And the hero I think is soon level 3. So I'm just trying to poke here. Now some people ask me why I didn't go sofas. The reason I didn't go sofas is because this map is... you can go sofas, it's not that it doesn't work or it's wrong. But if you go sofas, JD will always make Arbiter Directory, and they are really, really good. And they have a lot of melee armor as well. So if you're making sofas, then I feel like you gotta continue making like javelin throwers or archers, and usually I like to just go like Musafari warriors plus sofas and overwhelm your opponent. So I felt like maybe for this map sofas aren't that great. Maybe if it was Dry Arabia I would do it, so I just stuck with my comp. Now another interesting thing is, which is why JD in my opinion counters Malian at this point, or now when she gets level 3, is because you have no effective counter against JD. What does that mean? Well, other civs counter have crossbow, right? So they can, you know, they're not gonna one-shot her, but like 20-30 crossbows will two-shot her or three-shot her. So that's a pretty good counter. You cannot really go in with JD against mass crossbows, you're gonna die. Malian has javelin throwers, which don't do damage against JD really, because she has damage reduction and she's not a ranged unit in this form. And then you have no crossbows, and you have archers that do almost no damage to her, but you have poison arrow, which stacks but it deals very low amounts of damage. And the only real counter, like even sofas compared to other knights don't do as much damage to her because they have lower damage, they have high armor. So the only real counter to her is Donzos. Now the problem is, obviously JD, this one, woman at arms, she turns into a knight that's melee, so if you want to hit her with Donzos, she can cleave you with the Holy Wrath ability. So that's kind of the problem. And then if the enemy masses archers and you're trying to kill her with Donzos, you see the problem where you can't really kill her effectively. Like, yeah, you can kill her, but you need to use so much of your army to kill her that your army is going to get mowed down by the other units. So I tried sniping her here, and she levels up just in time, and now I'm trying to target fire her with archers. They already have poison arrows, so I'm trying to stack poison arrows on her. You can see her HP is going down slowly, but I think she dies from the poison, which was nice. I actually don't know if I saw that in game. She might have died outside of my line of sight. So this first fight goes alright, but it does level her up. So now we're both remaxing. He has more workers, right? So the longer the game goes, this is going to be worse and worse for me. And now the problem is, I have 4 Donzos, 11 archers. So if she comes into the range, like archer javelin thrower, she can Q twice, she's going to kill all of it. So now it's a lot more dangerous, right? For me. So I'm trying to trade as much as possible because, you know, I'm trying to force him to make units because he will run out of food eventually and he will have to go farms like now. So he won't be able to constantly make units while I will be able to. And if you look at the army suddenly, we had equal army, we traded equally, but now I have more army. And that's because my food economy is kind of sorted already. And his is not. So he goes for a charge here, and you can look how much damage that Q does. And the only thing I can do is put archers on her, because the Donzos are already blocked by the knights. So I have 23 archers shooting at her. And look how much damage is being, like, wasted on her, because she has massive damage reduction. And then she comes in. Oh, he had no Q. He runs into the TC, but the poison stack was a lot, so that Jeanne dies in TC. But if you look, it's kind of like had 23 archers shoot at a brick wall for like 20 seconds in order to kill her, and then he just bought her back. So the trading becomes very, very close. Like, this game was very, very close, and I was put in a position where I have to commit. Now here, I get the, he charges in, and I get, what's it called, brace, and JD gets impaled, she gets stunned, and there was like 3 or 4 Donzos hitting her, and there was archers shooting at her. Then she gets stuck in the back, he tries to move, but she's stuck with his own units, and she dies again. Now, this was probably the losing point for him. I think at this point it was pretty even because, mind you, we're trading a lot. A lot. And if you look, she's almost level 4. Which is going to become an even bigger problem. So, right now, this was the point where I feel like, okay, I can push my advantage. So I was mining stone beforehand, ready to push, and I wanted to try deny gold from him. So he gets a mango nail, and I'm like, oh god, okay, I gotta get a spring gold, so I was waiting for that. The mango nail goes down. I don't think he was paying attention. I don't know if he saw. He tried moving too late. And now I just pull like, I don't know how many workers I had here. A lot of workers. 23 workers. I wanted to put a keep. I could have probably put a keep here, like closer. But I put a keep just to have a defense point so he can't counter push me. JD comes back. Stone walls are coming. I have some Usufaris denying the gold over here. I'm trying to deny him gold everywhere I can. And this is kind of the point where, I'm still full producing units. I'm still pumping. But his food transition is not in yet. He is just running out of, or he just ran out of food everywhere. So this is the only food he has going, which is not a lot. And my food income is pumping the whole time. So I'm gonna, start to push here and try to do as much damage as possible. And again, javelin throwers on the crossbows. JD, I'm trying to put archers on her, but again, it takes so long. Look at this. Okay, I don't have a lot of archers, 11 archers, right? But they still have to waste so much damage to try to kill her. I think this is where he gets level 4, if I'm not mistaken. In a little bit. He tries doing some raiding in the back, but I have Donzos covering that. And now she's level 4. Now, at this point, I don't think he actually summoned the army, and I don't think he used the ability. There was so much going on, by the way, that I'm not showing. Like, there was a run by here, there was a run by here, I was making a keep, then I was making a keep here, I was doing run-bys at the bottom, so he was, like, distracted everywhere, and we were both microing the run-bys that he was doing here. So there was a lot of action, and JD ends up taking a little bit too much damage. He does, I don't think he ends up using the ability and he ends up dying. You can see he's probably steering. He's out of gold. His food count is completely dried out, emptied out. And this is why I said that I do think that it's not about this civ countering this civ. It's like multiple phases where JD counters Malian, then Malian counters JD, then JD counters Malian. And at this point, once or maybe a bit earlier, when the opponent fully runs out of food, Malian doesn't. And all you gotta do is keep trading evenly and keep pushing non-stop, and JD will be in a lot of trouble. Because you can see his army is not really increasing. He's making siege because he has a lot of wood and some gold. I go for a keep here to deny this gold, which is his final one, except this one here, which I have units there. I'm making some rams to try, push and end the game. And right here, he just has crossbows. There's no front line. There's nothing, so I just charge in. I kill all the springals. I have javelins cleaning up the crossbows. And again, there's a keep there, some units here, some units on the bottom denying gold, and he taps out. So, yeah, that was a really hard best of 5, and like I said, I think Louis is, I would expect him to get at least top 4 next tournament, if not go all the way to the finals. It all depends, who plays who and who he meets, because there's a lot of potential opponents, variations, and stuff that can happen. So, we'll see how well he can do. I hope he can do well. I'll continue to practice with him. And, you know, the next tournament, the next big tournament is in 1 month. So, plenty of time for him to improve further. Now, this was the quarterfinals. The semifinals, I will be covering, if you're watching on YouTube, I will be covering in the next video, which is going to be against Demu, who I think played against CSO. If you guys don't know who CSO is, he's a Chinese player that's also on the rise. So he, I think, beat him 3-0. And yeah, the next opponent that I played was Demu, so I'll be looking through those games. Oh yeah, CSO beat Marine Lord. That's true in group stage. Yeah, he beat Marine Lord. True. YouTube gamers, thanks so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably checking out more replays right now. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.